Welcome to the Spirits, Angels, and Guides Oh My podcast.
Where the supernatural gets real, baby.
Just because you can read someone doesn't mean you should. I've said it before and I'll say it again, babies. And some of you out there, you're given unsolicited readings, baby, and you're calling it being of service. And we're going to clean that up today, because real intuitive work, my friends, is not just about what you receive. It's about the responsibility, the etiquette, if you will, in how you use it.
Welcome, everyone, to Spirits, Angels, and Guides Oh My, where we explore the spiritual world in a grounded, practical, and real-life way. I'm Nancy Christine Brady.
And I'm Tara Diana.
And today's conversation is one that feels really important, Tara, especially as more people are opening up intuitively. We're talking about psychic ethics and spiritual boundaries, people, and how to navigate what you're receiving, and more importantly, how to use discernment responsibly.
This is such a big deal in my head. Oh my goodness. You know, for having done the work for as long as I have, I see so much stuff.
Yeah, and I do feel like Hollywood's had a big impact on this, really.
I do too. We need to stop normalizing unsolicited readings, like just full stop.
Yeah.
You know, because somewhere along the way, people have decided and started thinking that being intuitive means you're supposed to say everything you get to everyone all the time. I'm talking about the people who walk down the streets. Now, I'm going to say this. I know that sometimes you'll get a random message from someone and it'll hit you in all the right spaces. And people will say, well, that was because they were supposed to get the message, right? Yeah. Like that. You were supposed to get. Don't go down that road, people. Don't go down that road, because that's not intuitive work. That's called lack of boundaries.
Yes.
And again, straight from my chest to yours, we can be accurate and still be inappropriate.
Oh my gosh, 100%. And I think for a lot of people, it really does come from a place of wanting to help. You know, they feel something strongly and their instinct, oh my God, I got to share this right away. But they do it without permission, and that can feel very invasive to the person receiving it. So even if the intention is good, Tara, it doesn't always land that way.
And that can literally be like a 50-50 split there, right?
Oh.
Like, oh yeah, no, someone wants it. And that message was important and it was valid and it needed to be in the moment. And you know, I've heard people say, well, you got to take the risk. And I'm like, the fluff you do, if you can't discern when a reading is meant to be in the moment, if you can't read the room, you shouldn't be given the messages. And again, let's just talk about the people who walk up to you on the street and be like, hey, I have your mother here in spirit. Now, if you're giving something that is positive, motivational, and inspirational, which is how spirit works with us naturally, remember, spirit doesn't come through and say you're a fluff up and you are making huge mistakes, and if you don't get your head out of your ass. They also don't come up and say you're about to walk in front of a street and get hit by a bus because you don't know. Like, that kind of stuff is sensationalized in movies, in whatever. Spirit works with us. And again, when we say this, when Nan and I come to you guys and we give our perspectives on these things, we are coming from our lived experience, right? Yes. We're coming from our space, what spirits taught us, how we sit with all of that. That's what we're talking about, okay? We're not talking about, you know, I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea. I guess, Nan, is what I'm trying to say. To be of service means that you are able to connect and give when appropriate. Boundaries are important.
And I want to talk about that, boundaries, when you're done your thought.
And I just want to say to you guys, if you feel, because remember, you are working with spirit. You still have a say in this as your humanness. If you feel that this message is not to be delivered at this time, maybe you're on platform and it's really profound and really emotional and it's really deep, but this isn't the right place to air it out in front of 40 other people. you don't do it, you find a way afterwards. Or if you feel like you're walking down the street and you feel connected to this person, why you're on is another question. But if you feel like you need to hit that someone, I want you to think about this. Is it your job? Even if you think it's being of service, let's not get that twisted, what that actually means. Is it your job to interrupt someone going about on their, lunch downtown, to give them this random message, which will take them out of their power, whether it's positive, whether it's not positive? I will say this, Nan, and then you do your thing, baby. But I will say this. I truly and honestly believe that if you're not meant to give the message, even if you got the message, if you don't feel comfortable giving it, if you don't feel this is the right place, if you're doing all the good work that Spirit teaches you to discern, Spirit will find another way to get the message to them. Period. Hard stop. Even if it's using their own spirit teams that they don't even know if you're using.
100%. And that's one thing too, like, because sometimes I'm not on, but I'm just so zenned out that I'll get a message download, but I will say back to that spirit right away, you figure another way to get that to them, because it's not going to happen right now. And I wanted to talk briefly about you talking about taking them out of their power. And I can't reiterate the importance of that enough. Like, when I lost my dad, I had someone in the spiritual world ask me, do you think he got to the other side? Do you want me to connect with him? And I was like, oh, hard stop. No. Like, of course he got to the other side, and then
Where do you think he is?
right. And then when I lost my dog, I had people call me and ask me to I have a message from your dog. And I said, no, you don't.
Shut up. Did they actually do that?
Yeah. And I said, no, you don't. And the thing is, I was so thick and deep in my grief. I don't want that. It's kind of like when you lost Ryan and you're like, I don't want messages. Like, let me be in my human. Let me process my grief, because I don't need you to do this right now. And I didn't ask it of you, which is the most important part. I didn't ask this of you. I know you're capable. And if and when I'm ready and want a message, I'll reach out. Like,
and that insults people. Like, how many times did I say, no, thank you. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And they were like butthurt.
Yeah.
That it was their God-given right to give me this message from Ryan. That is a thing. And I'll tell you something, Nan. I know that half the people that are my good friends who are mediums all got a connection to Ryan. I don't know if everyone got a message per se, but I know they could all feel him. And none of you came running to me and were like, I need to do this. Just like, I know Dory's on the other side. I can feel her if I choose to. I know where she is, but I'm not calling you up and being like, you're fully capable of knowing that. I'm not encroaching. Is that a word? Encroaching? I think it is.
Yeah.
On your time and your grieving, what I will say is, how you doing? Right? That's all you need.
That's more powerful, and that's more of what the person needs. And like you said, if they're walking on their lunch hour and suddenly somebody comes up to them and offers a message, and it's just not right. It just goes against all the ethics.
In our personal view, and you can fight us on this, we're good with it. We'll stand on this hill and we'll scream it from the top of our mouths. But because there's so much more to it. It's not just about being connected to spirit. It's about being connected to the humanness as well. So ethical intuition is discernment. It's not blurting out things. And for fluff's sake, it's not about proving your gift. We talked about this, you and I, Nan, before. I immediately called, when all this happened, I called Lynn and I said, you tell everyone not to give messages. And there was a reason for that was besides the fact that I wasn't ready for that. It was literally, I know who's a medium and I know who can connect. And I don't want to have to put away acquaintances and friendships, because I know that you were just trying to either impress me or comfort me, but I know that you're not getting that. Like, you can't fool a psychic medium. Deep down, we always know. Even if we don't want to know it. Like people say, well, if you knew that, why'd you let it happen? Again, right? So don't prove your gift. No one's
Yeah.
asking you to.
Yeah.
You should never give a message without asking for permission. That's why we say, may I come to you, please?
Yes.
Now, if you want to run down the street, may I come to you, please? And they say yes, all the power to you. I still think it's wrong. So if you are jumping on every hit you're getting, you guys, it's asking, it's asking the etiquette, the ethics of it. Is this mine to say? Is
Yeah.
this the right moment? Has this person invited this?
Oh my God, yes. And timing plays such a big role in this. Like, even if someone would be open to receiving something, it doesn't mean they're open in that exact moment, right? People are in their own emotional space, and unexpected information coming at you can feel very overwhelming instead of supportive. Can be destructive, actually.
So much so, and that's so much so. And this is, and I hear this all the time. And this is what I was talking about beforehand, Nan. Well, I would want to know.
That's what they're saying to themselves.
Okay, boo, but that's you.
Yeah.
That's you, boo. And that's based on your level of openness, your awareness, and where you are in your journey. And that's not everybody.
That's important that you said there, Tara, where you are and where they are in their journey, because exactly that is so important about where they are in their journey.
Because in reality, in my world, not everyone wants to know.
Yeah.
Not everyone is ready to know. So if you're bringing in dad and dad and this person didn't have a good relationship and this person's in a lot of other turmoil in their lives and you're like, hey, dad's here and he wants to apologize, and they're like, oh, he does.
Yeah.
They never asked you for that message. What gives you the right to go and do that? In reality, like I said, not everyone feels safe receiving something like that out of nowhere.
Yes.
If you're coming to a reading, you've prepared yourself for specific things. If you're coming to a message night, you've prepared yourself for certain things. And I think this is the piece, Nan, that gets absolutely missed. We as these mediums who feel like sometimes we get put on pedestals too, and like F that as well. We start making decisions for other people based on what we would want. That's our ego. So now we went from spirit having human experience to working with spirit being human, what we would want, instead of respecting where they are.
Yeah.
And a lot of readers don't practice this.
It's disturbing, actually.
We've worked ourselves up. We're turning red. I've got hives. But, to be real, if someone is having a heavy day, and I know I'm reiterating this a little bit, but I truly think that this is so valid and important. If someone is having, a heavy day, okay, they're overwhelmed, they're already overwhelmed, they're already in a shitty place, and they're not even open to this kind of work, because that's another point.
Yeah.
Not everyone believes in this.
Yeah. It's a
Not
good point.
everyone believes that we can talk to the dead, that we can talk to, aliens and whatnot. Like, not everyone believes it. And you or I come in with something that's deep and emotional and nail them. That doesn't feel like support.
No.
That feels like too much. And then what are we going to do? Just turn around and walk away? Okay, thanks so much for taking that. Bye now.
Yeah, I've ripped open your trauma. Here you go.
Right? So this is... Okay, bye now. Gotta catch the bus. This is my stop.
Oh, it's awful.
And this is where discernment comes in again, though. It's not just like, am I getting something, right, Nan? It's yes, we could. I mean, if we were open all the time, I have strict boundaries when I do this work. I am not, like, once we get off here, I'm going to do a little bit of work, admin work. I'm not going to be open to spirit telling me, hey.
Yeah.
Right? My guides will work with, but I'm not open to spirit, etc., etc. So, you know, and again, discernment comes in. It's not just about getting that something, as I was saying. It's really, is this appropriate for this person in this moment? And I don't think enough people think about that, even on platform. Even when, you know they're there. You got 40 eyes, 40 sets of eyes on you. They all want a message from someone. You need to be able, your spirit team needs to be able to work with you, baby, and be able to be like, okay, you know what? I've got this powerful message, and you've seen me, and you've seen me do this on platform where I'm like, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I've done the same. You and I have both done the same on platform where we're like, we're going to take this offline because you don't, and especially in platform and with a group of people, you don't want to bring all of that person's personal stuff out. When you're on platform, it's a very beautiful, quick message. You don't want to be ripping open stuff that they're working on and needing to heal or any of that.
I get so passionate about this because how many readings that were unsolicited have I had to go in and, I'm going to say fix, it's not the right word, but assess and work with the individual because some random person or some intuitive they saw just suddenly blurted this stuff out and then left them hanging.
Yeah.
Because being intuitive is not about inserting yourself into someone else's experience. You don't have the right, just because you can connect to spirit, to go and interrupt people in their lives. You don't have that right. That's not what spirit's all about. It's about respecting what you are given. I don't call this a gift. People call this a gift all the time. And I'm like, I don't know why you think this is a gift. We can all do this. You just choose not to. Right? Like, it's not a gift. So it's like being a lawyer and chasing an ambulance. Right? That's unethical.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't need clients that bad. I don't need to. And again, let's go back just for a second to that whole thing about, well, if I get the message, I should give it. F that. Sometimes the most respectful thing that you can do is say nothing at all. And spirit, if you're working with your team, if you're working with your guide, spirit will guide you that way. Just because you get it, what? You don't have to give it.
That's right.
So, like I said, I always go back to the Teresa Caputo thing, and no shade to Teresa. I know she's on a TV show. I know they have scripts. I know. So, and she goes into that laundry mat, right? This is the only episode I watched, and Alana and I walked away from the TV. We're like, that's a no. So she walked into the laundry place and the laundry mat, and she was suddenly like, oh, to the guy sitting at the desk or the counter, your dad's in spirit. I have a message from your dad? And he was like, oh, now that's scripted, so maybe that's not a good example, but that turned me off that show faster than your head could spin, because that teaches up and coming mediums, up and coming intuitives, so this is what we're supposed to do. This is somehow going to make you famous. Yes. So let's take a different scenario. You're in the grocery store, you feel spirit around someone. You do not chase them down like, hey, your grandmother is here. We're not doing that. That I will never stand behind someone that does that shit.
No, it's so overwhelming for someone who isn't expecting it, like we've talked about, and they haven't chose to be in that kind of space or receive that message.
Yeah, that I think is the biggest point of all. Yeah. There's a time and a place for this. You're at a gathering, you pick something up. Instead of saying it, you wait. You wait. If they open the door, different story.
Well, that's because that's where it becomes a shared experience instead of something being pushed on them.
Exactly. So again, being able to have a conversation, and this is where I think, Nan, you and I can go back and forth a little bit, but having a conversation with someone, at a gathering, like you and I tonight are going out for girls' night and getting together and chilling and having a conversation. Now, granted, everyone in the room is going to have some level of intuitive mediumship going on. Even poor Mel and Dylan, who don't even know it, but they spend so much time with us. And something comes up and you want to say something, right? There's a way to do that. There's a way to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, Nan? Tony. There's a way to... yeah, to segue into it. There's a way to do that. Oh, yeah, I was thinking this and blah blah. Now these ladies would be open to it, so we could blurt it out. So not a good example, but a good example. So we would be able to segue in and just be like, you know what I'm feeling with that? Do you know what I'm feeling? I'm feeling this. It's gentle. It's easy. They can take it. They can leave it. And most people can. But look at where we are. We are in a place that is safe. We have the ability to expand on it if needed. So we have the ability to like not be like literally, oh, this is my stop, I gotta go, or see you later, or you know what I mean? Walk right past them after we blurt something at them. We have the ability to facilitate a proper exchange between between spirit, ourselves, and the person. If they open now, if they say, oh, you know what, I'm not really in, I don't really want to talk about it, or not tonight, or that's super easy for us to say absolutely, and we just eat another piece of cake and have a drink and we all carry on. But we also can read the room.
And reading the room is so important. And it's funny, you do this full time for a living. I do this on Saturdays because my day job is a corporate job, and that pays my bills, and I'm happy with that. I love being of service when I can on Saturdays when the time allows. And just kind of a segue, just because I am a medium doesn't mean I have to do this full time. Okay. So, but what I find is when people, whether it be my sales reps that work for me or with me, I should say, or even some customers, the conversation will come up because they put my cell phone in their phone, and then on social media it gets, you might know this person. And then I have the conversation of, so you came up as a suggestion and I looked at your profile and I see you do this. And I'm like, uh-huh. Do you think you could tap into so and so? Do you think could and so often they are fascinated. They want to learn more about mediumship. They want to learn more about who I talk to. And so that's another thing around boundaries, because it kind of goes, it can go both ways in a sense. And I'll be like, absolutely, I would love to work with you. However, I'm at my day job and I'm turned off right now. So let's talk about this on our personal time, right? And
That's
even
great
though,
being put on a pedestal too, right?
yeah, but even though I know their people are standing right behind them, now is not the ethical time or place to get into the messages. And so at that point, I will often say to their people, get them to make an appointment, get them to schedule something so that we're doing this on personal time, right? I've referred to this before. I don't like the show up and throw up. That's
Yeah.
what I call it. I don't like that.
And that, to me, that's showmanship, right?
Yes.
So it kind of goes into the ego a little bit. So let's talk about that. That's a good segue into the
Bring
ego.
it on.
Um,
Bring it on.
Sometimes it's not guidance, it's ego. Someone wants to, a reader, intuitive, someone, sometimes you see this with the ones that are just learning. If they're not being mentored, if they are just dabbling all this, they want to be right. They want to be validated. They want to feel gifted. There's that word again, and I got goosebumps when I said it, and I don't like it. You can't see my goosebumps though, because, well, there's a lot going on here. We've all been there to a degree. I think you and I we're long past having outgrown that need to be validated, the need to be right. At this point, I'm like, I know I'm right. I'm not worried about it. You don't take it. That's on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But these individuals, they can't stay there. They can't stay in that place, like, where they need to their ego needs to be fed. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't stay there. You have to grow out of that space.
And you said something really important. Maybe they've read a book or they're doing their development on their own. This is where it is so important when you're in training to find a circle, to find someone you can work with so you can get that validation in circle, and you don't need to do it out in public when you're downloading a message.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
especially in development, there's an excitement. People are learning, they're exploring, they want confirmation. But if you're in a circle, like Tara runs a fantastic circle, her and Lynn do development, get in there, because this is the safe place where people can go, yes, that message really landed with me, or this kind of landed. Could you pull more from spirit for me? Right? And that's why having that right environment matters so much.
And you know, here's the thing. You don't have to be wanting to be a practicing medium, a practicing intuitive reader, an energy practitioner to be able to do what I call the 3 steps, which is the higher self, intuitive self, connection to spirit. It all would help your life just be the highest and best it could be if you were allowing yourself to do that work. Most of us know we're intuitive, think we can connect to spirit, and do zero work on ourselves. So we can never actually get all the way over here to where it's easy, to where you're not proving everything, you're trusting. Like I said to you, the message doesn't resonate with you. That's a you thing, baby, not a me thing. I know, I trust spirit, always have, always will. Now, if the message is completely like, I have, you know, your dad here and you're a black man and I'm describing, you know, a white man that, you know, is 90 years old and blah, blah, blah. And this guy's, you know, 26 and I'm giving all this stuff and they're like, that is not bang on at all. Fair enough. That's never happened in my world, but that could happen to other people. But you know what I'm saying? We don't sit in proving. We don't sit in that energy of having to prove because we trust. And that's why, like you said, development circles, the environment matters. Who is your mentor? And you should always have someone that gives you a little something. Both you and I have sat in mentorship in different ways, right? Mm-hmm. And now we're mentors. So it is about being, and you never take everything that someone teaches you. You take what resonates. We talk about that constantly, all the time, watching every one of our podcasts. You should take what resonates, baby, and leave the rest behind. Because how are you going to really feel that you're trusting? You're going to feel like you're trusting when it comes to you easy, when you're sitting in these circles and you're practicing and you're like, this makes sense. I am not seeking validation. It makes sense. I'm going to give it. And of course you're going to get that whole, oh yes, that makes sense to me. I can take that.
I think too, it's also about energetic alignment. Like, so let's say the person walking down the street and I come at them and they're like, oh, I hate her personality. I don't want anything to do with her. That's an important thing to talk about as well, because I always ask spirit, get that person to me if they energetically align with me and they're meant to hear this from me. They might be meant to go see Tara. They might be meant to go see someone else completely different who's going to give them the messages in a way that their energy is receiving it beautifully from who's giving it. And that's an important thing to say.
Yeah, that's really important. You know, my vibe is not everyone's vibe. I could still give you a great message for sure, but my humanness matters.
Same.
Right? My humanness matters. So if you're getting all this info and you want to be given it and you want to step out of the ethical boundaries, you need to check yourself.
Yeah.
You need to check yourself. So what to do instead? This is my suggestion. Pause. Like if you're downloading and you're like, oh my lordy, just pause for a second. Mm-hmm. Acknowledge. Ask internally. That's interesting. Ask internally. That's where you're reading the room.
Yeah.
Then ground yourself so that you feel like you're stable, you're present, you're not etheric and all over the place, and then you get to choose.
Yeah.
You get to discern. Yes, I'm going to give this message. No, I'm not. Yes, I'm within my boundaries to give this message.
And you can still support someone energetically, Tara, without saying anything out loud.
Bingo!
Right? Your choice can be what we've talked about previously, to just say, have them get to someone who can deliver this message the way they need to receive it.
And you know what doesn't get talked about enough in this work? Is restraint.
Yes.
Is restraint.
Yes.
Everybody wants to talk about what they're getting, what they're seeing, what they're healing. Or hearing, and maybe what they're healing too. Everyone wants to talk about that, but nobody's talking about the power of not saying it.
Oh, that takes such a maturity, Tara.
And personally, I'll tell you right now, restraint is where your real strength comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easy for us to say everything that we receive, bleh, right? That throw up, or don't throw up, but show up and throw up, whatever that is that you said. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
What's not easy is sitting with it, with
Yes.
trusting it, and choosing to deliver it if it's not the right time. You've got to take yourself out of the headspace that somehow you are so vital and so important in this mediumship, pipeline, that you have to do it. You know what? Choosing not to deliver it if it's not the right time, that's discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, that's maturity in your intuitive work.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have restraint, what happens? You start reacting instead of responding. You get a hit and you jump. You feel something and you blurt it out. I would literally be like, Fluke, who are you talking to? No one asked you for that.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you don't have the discipline, if you don't have the boundaries, you don't have the restraint, you're going to be in big trouble. You need to create space to ask, is this helpful? Is this mine to say? Just because you get it does not actually mean it's meant to be said yet. We can pick up shit all over the place, boo-boos, and be like, wow, that's interesting. Holy crow, why am I feeling that? That's why you got to have a good connection with your spirit team, with spirit itself. Is this mine to say? Is this the right moment? And here's the part, Nan, that people don't like, right? Sometimes the answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to be mother fluffing okay with that. You have to be okay receiving something and not using it. Because that doesn't make you less gifted. And it makes you more trustworthy in my world.
100%.
Right? Because your gift is not just in what you receive, it's how you handle it.
Yes.
And the more you practice restraint, the stronger your discernment gets, the cleaner your connection becomes, and the more people can actually feel safe around you. And in that terms, the less likely you are to be waltzing down the street, sipping a Starbucks, and be like, hey, I got your mom. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because you have set your boundaries, you're sitting in discipline, you have the restraint. To me, that's real intuitive work.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
If someone says, I have a message for you, you can say no.
Yes.
I've done it.
I have too. And that's not being closed off, Tara. That's being aware of what you're ready for, what you're ready to receive, so that you're sitting in your power and going, I'm going to do this when I'm ready. And like you said earlier, sometimes people don't believe in this, right?
And even if you blew their mind and suddenly they're like, yes, not your job. And we need to normalize this more. Saying no is a full sentence and it's safe. Because for some reason, that second someone says to you, I have a message for you, people feel like they have to say yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you can read it on their faces.
Yeah, because they get that uncomfortable. Ooh, look on their. It's like you said earlier. Read the room, people.
Yeah, and you don't have to say yes. You're allowed to say no, thank you. I'm not open to that right now, or even just no. No's good. Hard stop. Full sentence.
Yeah.
And here's the real question, though: why don't people say no? Like, why don't they say no? And a lot of time, it's just because we don't want to seem rude. We don't want to hurt the person's feelings. We don't want to look closed off or unspiritual or ungrateful. And sometimes, if we're being really honest, if I'm going to be honest, it's because we've been taught to override our own discomfort to keep the peace.
Oh my God. People pleasers. Yes.
Right? So even if something doesn't feel right, or it feels like it's going to be too much, we're not trusting, you're not trusting your own instincts, and we're just not in the space for it. We say yes anyway. And that's where we start disconnecting from ourselves, our higher selves, because our body usually knows first. That's why I said you could read the face. It'll be like, right? You'll feel
Yeah.
it, that little hesitation that I don't think I want this right now. And then this jumps in and goes, just be nice, just go along with it. And here's fact. You're not responsible for managing someone else's desire to give you a message.
That's right.
You're responsible for your own space, babies, your own energy, your own readiness. And the more you start honoring that, the easier it gets to say no. The clearer your boundaries get, and honestly, the more people will respect you. We are around spiritual practitioners. I mean, I have a whole collective of them. And I'm going to say this. Because a grounded no is way more powerful than a forced yes.
Mm-hmm. And spirit feels that. Spirit feels it.
Yeah. And that applies in intuitive work and in life in general. Let's be like for real.
Yeah.
Right? So stop practicing on random people. Find a circle. Find a mentor. Work with consent. May I come to you? Tattoo that on your forehead.
And honestly, that's where the confidence and skills really start to build.
Right?
With those mentors in those circles. Yeah.
Because your gift is not measured by how much you say. It's going to be measured by how well you respect it. Do your work and do it responsibly.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
And on that note, everyone, thank you so much for being here with us today and spending this time in this conversation.
And if this landed for you, if this resonated, babies, if you got something out of it, make sure you subscribe, follow along, and share this with someone who might need to hear it.
We love being able to bring these conversations forward in a way that feels real, grounded, and supportive.
And as always, sit in your power, trust your process, and stay connected.
See you next time on Spirits, Angels, and Guides. Oh my.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into the wonderfully weird and metaphysical.
If you loved what you heard, don't forget to follow us for more insights and behind the scenes fun.